Hey, what's up, solar family? How are you? It's James here. Hopefully you're doing amazing. If you haven't scheduled your free solar strategy call yet, make sure you do that, especially if you want to learn how to get in the industry or maybe close more deals or even marketing. There's gonna be a pop-up around this video, schedule your call. In this video, we're gonna be talking about Redlines, because I've been talking a lot about Redline this, Redline that with my other videos. And then every time I get on a solar strategy call, the conversation always comes up and be like, what the heck is a Redline? So I wanna make this quick video for you, and it's gonna be fairly quick so you can really understand what a Redline is and how a Redline affects your commission, because it's directly correlated with the Redline, and it also affects your commission, how much you get paid. Right, so basically what a Redline is, the simplest way I can explain it, because I did look it up in a dictionary and I didn't see it, right? It must be like a contractor term, because every time I look at a Redline, it's just a red line like crossing out like errors or whatnot, right? But basically in the solar world, Redline is basically the price that the solar company is gonna give you to sell their products. It's like their bottom line, and anything above and beyond that price is your profit. Right? But keep in mind, there's also like dealer fees, there's other adders and things like that involved, but I want to give it to you as simple as I can, right? Because it can get a little complicated. And if you want to dive in deeper, you have more questions about Redline, or you want to plug in with a solar company that has this type of Redline structures, make sure you schedule that call with me and I'd love to give you more information, right? So again, a Redline is the base price. It's your negotiations with a company, whatever that price is, and anything above and beyond that Redline is your profit. Obviously, like I said, there's dealer fees and things like that involved, right? So for example, if you create a partnership with an install company and they give you a Redline of, $2.25, that means that anything above $2.25 is your profit. But most of the time, you're probably going to be selling a finance deal, meaning that, it has to go through a bank and there are dealer fees involved. So the dealer fees can range, it's really ridiculous. It can be like 15% all the way up to 20+%. But as far as an average, you're probably looking at close to, say, 60 cents, right? 60 cents for dealer fees. So as you can see now, that the Redline is starting to go up. And keep in mind, like I said, the Redline is correlated to your commission, right? The idea is to get the lowest Redline as possible so you can actually make some profit, right? Because there's a ceiling as far as the fair market value and how much you can sell the solar system for, depending on your particular area where you live. But there is that ceiling, right? And unfortunately, you don't want to go above and beyond the fair market value of the system, because now you're just gouging the homeowner, right? And obviously as well, on the flip side, you don't want to undervalue and race to the bottom as well and just try to give the homeowner the lowest PPW as possible, right? Because that ruins the industry as well, right? So there's that fine line on selling these products or selling solar based on the fair market value in your area, right? In California, there's a wide range. We could start at $4.25 to $4.50, and we could go as high as close to $5. Sometimes we see it like $5.25 plus, right? But keep in mind, this is California. So if you're somewhere else in the country, maybe you're in Texas or maybe Arizona, you may not be able to sell it that high, right? So there is a ceiling on the price per watt that the market is gonna, basically give you. And from there, you have to price it accordingly. That's why it's really important to have a really low Redline right from the get-go, right? Let's just jump into this. So now, as you can see, with the dealer fees, this is now at $2.85 price per watt, right? With the dealer fees. There's also additional adders involved, right? So for example, if we have to replace the main panel unit, if we have to, install solar on different type of roof types, right? Usually, you know, cement tile, clay tile, metal type of roofs, there is an adder, right? Some solar companies, they also add a travel adder, meaning that if they drive a certain distance away from their home base location, they're gonna charge you for that, right? There's a whole bunch of adders, right? Especially if you're doing like a re-roof, maybe you're upgrading to a battery, things to that nature, this price starts going up. What I'm showing you right now is just best case scenario, right? And obviously this can fluctuate. And I'll show you as well how this is, you know, correlated directly into your commissions and how much you're gonna make. Because like I said, the lower this number is, actually this number up here, right? What you negotiate with a solar company, the better off you are, right? So again, that's at 285 now. And obviously there's different types of adders involved. So at the end of the day, say for example, with the additional adders, say you add on another 15 cents for adders, right? So now you're at $3, right? PPW. So as you can see, and sorry, maybe you can't see, it's kind of low. If you're at a $3 Redline right now, including the adders, if your market, the fair market value for solar in your market, say for example, it's at 350, 330, there's not much margins to play with, right? Keep in mind, I'm not adding all the adders here as well. There can be multiple adders that needs to be included into the system. And if your fair market value is, for example, at 350, 380, you're already at $3 with minimal adders, right? So your commission starts getting smaller and smaller because of the red line that you got initially, right? Because some of this stuff you can't really foresee, right? You don't really know whether or not you have to add on these certain adders. Obviously, dealer fees you would have to, unless they're buying the system cash outright. But that's why it's really important to start out with a really low red line with a solar company, right? It's super important. So let me show you how this directly affects your commission, right? Because the higher the red line, the lower your commission, basically, right? And ideally, you want to get right around $2 and under $2, right? Sub $2, like $1.85, $2 a watt is somewhere where you want to be as far as your red line with your install company. And like I said, if you guys want to dive in deeper, you guys need help on finding an install company for your area, make sure you schedule that free solar strategy call. And I'd love to give you guys or point you in the right direction, right? So let's break this down based on your commission now, right? So for example, say for example, the fair market value in your area is say $4, right? PPW. So that's the most that you can actually sell for your particular area without gouging the market, right? And if your red line right now, say it's at, you got a $3 red line, right? I'm gonna go a little extreme. I have seen it at $3, but most of the time it's like $2.75, $3 red line. And keep in mind, this is just for demonstrational purposes only as well, right? So $3 red line, and then now you got to add on, a 65 cents dealer fee, right? You can see how much is already gouging into your commission, right? So now there's another maybe adder. You have to put an adder because they have a concrete tile. That's probably another 15 cents, right? So now we're at $3.70. Right? And now guess how much you're left with, right? You're left with literally like 30 cents a watt, right? So for example, if you sold a 6 kilowatt system at 30 cents, that's like $1,800, right? Still looks pretty good. I mean, $1,800 is still money, right? It's still pretty good money. But imagine if you can reduce this red line right here, right? Imagine if you could bring this down to like $2 a watt, right? Imagine how much more you're gonna have here. So basically now you're at 270, right? That's 270 price per watt right now. That would be your red line. And then from there, you're at $1.30 now, right? You're $1.30. So now this is gonna be right around, I don't know, 700-800 bucks. Right? You can see how it drastically affects your commission in the back end, right? When you start doing all the math, that's why it's really important for you to get a really low red line. And keep in mind that a $2 red line is a really good red line. Under $2 is even better, obviously. But if you're new in the industry and you decide to go knock at the solar company's door and say, hey, I want a red line, right? And I want it at $2. More than likely, they're not gonna give it to you at $2, right? You're gonna have to show your worth first, right? And then as you close more deals and as they see you actually performing out in the field, and you're making money, they're making money, they're actually seeing that you're closing deals, they'll start reducing that red line. But just keep in mind that I'm not telling you to go knock at the local installer's door and say, hey, I want a $2 red line, right? They're gonna be like, yeah, right. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's all performance based, right? But they pay you really well based on your performance. So the more deals that you can actually, sell with that particular install company, the lower this red line is. And that gives you even more negotiation power if you're closing deals with them. Right? If I'm closing 20, 30 deals a month with a solar company and I'm currently getting a 225 red line and, I say, hey dude, can I bring it down to $2? More than likely they will do that, right? Versus if I was closing like 1 or 2 deals a month, right? So obviously they have their own structure on when and how they're going to reduce that red line for you. You have to negotiate that. But again, if you want to dive in deeper, if you want to jump into this red line business structure, make sure you schedule that free solar strategy call. I'd love to dive in deeper with you and point you in the right direction. Other than that, that's all I have. Hopefully this makes sense, right? And obviously, like I said, there's other adders involved here. I just want to keep it as simple as I can. But there are other adders involved that increases the red line or whatnot that can affect your commission right at the end. But ideally, like I said, this is the structure that you want. If you're getting in the industry, you definitely want to get into a red line type commission plan because this is gonna pay you the most, right? And that's all I have. Hopefully you got some value from this. And again, if you haven't scheduled your free solar strategy call, to get a link around this video, click that link and schedule your call with me personally. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, do that as well, right? And also click that bell notification so you get all my updated videos as it comes out. Other than that, have an amazing day. Happy selling. Peace.